to Middle Fingers Up, the show where we hold our heads high and our middle fingers higher. I'm your host, Kieran McKay. Today, Amy is back from episode 3. Yeah, so you're back by popular demand, by the way.
That's so nice.
As I was just saying, you've been on more podcasts than I've been on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will never let you forget that.
Yeah, you're so fancy now.
Thank
I
you.
had to buy you sushi before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful too. It was delicious.
Yeah, it was
Thank
so
you.
good. Sushi Ginza in Willow Park.
Shout out.
Yeah. Here in the YYC.
Yeah, delish. Can vouch. Delicious.
What does that mean?
Like my stamp of approval.
Ken vouch?
Yeah, I can vouch for
Oh,
it
they
being
mean like
delicious.
the name Ken.
No.
I was like,
No.
who's Ken? Is this a new Tinder
No.
pursuer?
No.
Yeah, oh,
no.
no.
No Ken.
No Ken.
No.
No. Because you're not a Barbie.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the farthest thing from one, I think.
You know, in high school, my nickname was Brown Barbie by some of my white friends because I so wanted to be white, remember?
Yeah.
If you listen to some of these episodes.
I did, yeah.
And so they call me Brown Barbie, and I fucking loved it. It was Brown Barbie.
Yeah, I bet.
You look so cute.
It's so cute.
Why do you look so? You're like, wow, so pathetic. Like, if people could see you, which one day I promise I'll get this camera rolling and people can watch the recordings, they would see that your eyebrows were coming together as if you felt so sorry for me.
I was just trying to figure out what that would look like.
A brown Barbie,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Close to pretty much the black Barbie, but like a shade lighter.
right. What outfit would you have worn though? That was exactly where my brain went. I was like, okay.
You tell me, what outfit do you think Brown Barbie would have worn? Let's do it. Start with the hair. First of all, the hair. What would the hair have looked like on me?
I feel like your hair would have been really long and like dark, but it would have had the lighter brown highlights or whatever because Barbie is innovative or whatever.
Of course.
You couldn't be traditional.
There's
You'd
two
have
different
to.
ones are
Yeah.
so innovative.
I
But
know.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But like I would picture you with probably like one of your blazers,
Yeah,
like
my
a
blazer.
Chanel type, like knit tweed,
Totally.
white and black
But it's
blazer.
see-through.
Well, no, like maybe a bra top underneath,
or maybe not.
a tube top,
A tube top.
right? Because you have perfect Barbie body, right?
In the scenario, my Barbie body is perfect.
Exactly. And
I
then
can wear a tube top.
like
yeah.
some high-waisted kind of paper boy pants, with the tie at the top and some heels.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
Wardrobe me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be Kieran Barbie.
I just imagine no one ever buying this poor Barbie. And like
It's at the-
mounds and
It's
stacks
at
of the
Dollarama.
Barbie.
Oh, no.
In the back dumpster, like mounds and mounds of they like you know when Lululemon's like, oh, we overstocked, we made too much. My brown Barbie doll, like, we made so much. It's okay.
No, I remember a time where I've worked with kids for a long time, and I tell a story about this one young lady that I worked with who is now grown up and successful, and she's her background's Guyanese, one of the most beautiful girls, same kind of skin tone as you, beautiful long hair, like very beautiful. If she ever listens to this for some reason, she'll know exactly who I'm talking about. I can't say her name, that's inappropriate, but I adored her. And I remember thinking about that when she was like a little girl, like, did she have those things? And I have like nieces and nephews and things like that too, and like making sure that they had dolls that represented more than just Barbie and white people and things like that. So I feel like people would buy your Barbie.
Well,
disagree.
you never know. Maybe I in the last episode I came up with a children's book. I'm gonna about Jeevan the giraffe. But anyways, why not? I'll have a book and we can make a brown Barbie, like my version.
Well, you could be brown Barbie now and you could have a podcast. You could have headphones and a microphone. You could wear the outfit that I just planned out. Like, it'd be perfect. And
we could redo my intro.
100%.
It's like, welcome to Brown Barbie.
No, stick with where you're at. We're good.
This is why people This is why people ask me to bring you back, because they're like, this chick is so real. Like, my mom wants to meet you because she's like, oh, like, I don't think my mom's intimidated by anyone, but she's like, oh, that's Amy, and I'm like, oh God, okay, that's Amy.
I love it.
Everyone loved the chemistry of you and Amanda, and it's just the funness of having you two around. And what in particular people liked about you was just, you're just real and raw and fun. We just have the funnest conversation. So I apologize now if the laughing's annoying, but I had to get up and pee, right? Like pause pre-recording and pee because I knew this was going to be too much because we
I love
just
it.
laughing before we even started.
I'm so grateful that people felt good about it. I feel like that is like a good representation. I adore you. I adore Amanda. I love the way that we're similar, our sense of humor, also our differences. Like
we're so different though.
Yeah, very different humans. And I love that. I love the chemistry between the three of us. Like I love that. And I'm happy that people who listen to your podcast appreciated that.
Yeah. And you were so open. Like people that know you, not in the way that they know you, got to know you, which I think was really cool because it is a little different for those of us that know you.
Yes.
You shared, and people that don't even know you got to see the side of you that many of us have known you for a while got to see for the first time. So I think there was feedback in that sense. However, people that I don't even know that are listening, which I really, really appreciate, loved how you talked about divorce and how you talked about Tinder and just the openness about it and just your funniness. So I think even Carrie really enjoyed listening to that one too. So I thought, okay, well, I guess this means we need to have you back and, have sushi and a little check-in.
That's awesome.
And as we were discussing earlier, maybe this will be a thing. It's like we have Cam's Corner.
Yeah.
And so it's coming up a name for you. And the one that I came up with, can I say it?
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Hold on. Wait.
Yeah.
Amy's Area. There we go.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to do. Yeah.
I love it.
So we'll have
Amy's
that back.
Area.
Yeah, welcome back. I mean, I'm sure that we can think of better names.
I think it's good.
That was a good one, though. What do you got for your middle finger? Sorry, I'm just like scratching my belly in front of you. This is why you can't record. People are literally Amy asking to watch.
Yeah.
I think that's lovely. I'm like, do you really want to watch? Because like, what if I am literally I'm scratching my belly right now, and
I feel like
see that like that's so weird. You have to be so put together a person. So maybe I'll put the camera on the guests.
No, it has to be on both for sure. There's no, anyway. One other thing that lots of people don't know about Kieran and I and how we started our friendship together, which is fitting because she's saying, "Oh, I'm sitting here scratching my belly and it's embarrassing." Okay, well, we had to do this thing for work one time, and we had to wear costumes. Anybody who was there knows what we're talking about. This story is like a little bit infamous with our workplace. Anyway, Kieran and I had to go try on costumes. And so like we knew of each other, but we were not like close by all means. Like we had sort of...
We were emceeing an event together.
Yeah. So we're going to get our costumes and we're trying them on. Obviously, we're going to show them to each other because it's kind of fun. It's like joking. We're learning about each other. So anyways, we're there. She tries on the costume and she makes a statement about whatever, something hilarious about grooming. And both of us almost peed our pants. And that was the beginning of, okay, there's something here. And then many years went by. Yeah. But the bond that was made that day in the change room. Yeah, you got to see what you're referring to, my super hairy legs. Yes. You're very nice. I hadn't shaved for months. I was doing this little contest with myself. Yeah. No one else but myself. Just how long could I go? Done it before with a friend or two in high school too. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know we were going to go try on Wonder Woman and whatever. What were you? Batgirl. You were Batgirl costumes. So yeah, so those little bodysuits, and you got to see the full... Yes, I did. You got to see why Carrie nicknamed me Chewbacca. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It was great. We did look so good, though. Yeah, it's one of my favorite pictures of all time. It's good times. We looked amazing. And we did a great job, too. Yeah, from what I kind of remember. I don't know. I blacked out a little. Yeah. Yeah. I was getting on a flight early morning to go to Costa Rica with my husband and a friend. Beautiful. Yeah, super. Wonder Woman glamour. Yeah, it was good. That was a fun time. It was. That's always whenever we get together, we get to see fun and weird things. Like we got to go on a romantic date because, this is funny because let's do an update. Because last time when you were on, you talked about some guy you were seeing because you were going through this whole Tinder thing. Yeah. Which is like foreign to me. Mm-hmm. So you were telling Amanda and I about this stuff and you were seeing some guy, but was like, he kind of rejected you because he had to clean his office that day. So you couldn't see him. But you were supposed to go away with this guy. Yeah. So okay, so for timeline's sake. So when we recorded the podcast that we were on before episode 3, it was the 11th or something like that. Yeah. Like November. It was the long weekend. And this is why I was so irritated because he could have cleaned his office during the day and we could have met up at night. And then he said, "Oh, I can't see you because I have to clean my office." Anyways, so we came and recorded the podcast. But a part of that was also what the heck, like talking about it on here and just being like, this is absurd
so weird.
to me.
Because we said it was the new way of saying I
need to wash my hair.
I can't go out tonight.
Yeah. Right? So anyways, I spoke with him the next day and was, you know what, we're done. Oh no, I spoke to him that morning and told him that we were done. So I had reported on that here, which was great. So anyway, lovely fellow, still talk to him. Very nice guy. No worries, whatever. And now sort of internet famous without permission, I guess. But he's fine with it. Anyhow. So we were supposed to go to Canmore at the end of November.
Romantic getaway.
Yes, a romantic getaway. And instead of him, Kieran came with me and we had a girls trip instead.
Gosh, so much fun. Well, first of all, my family thought I was going to be missing for like 3 days or 2 days or something.
Yeah.
Right?
I book a trip.
3 days. And so
I book a trip for Friday and Saturday with Kieran. And she packs for 4 days and tells her family she's not going to be home. And I'm like, no, dude, like we're leaving on Saturday. And she's like, what?
I was so fucking mad. And I even tried to beg you to just like, I'm like, let's just stay again. Like they're not expecting me. And they were all disappointed when I got home tonight. They're like, what are you doing home? Like, see, like people, they wanted me to boy, but that was so much fun. I had a really good time with you.
Yeah. We did just chill things.
We did. We laughed so hard.
Good dinners, good food, really nice. It was fun. We went to Banff. It was really fun.
It was a good time. We had a facial together.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I forgot. It was so good.
Yeah. That was
the
good.
Best. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I drained the crap out of the stuff that they drain on your face. I don't know. I'm not familiar with amazing. That, but my face looked amazing afterwards.
Yeah. It was a really good trip. But anyway, so going back to the whole, why are we talking about this? Well, because.
What's the point?
I was still on Tinder. I was back on Tinder. Whatever. So, continuing this journey of what the heck am I doing with myself? And so I'm showing Kieran on Tinder how it works because she's never been on. Yeah. She's been with her husband for a long time, doesn't need Tinder. So I'm showing her and I'm scrolling it because, I talked about how like weird dudes were matching with me. There's pictures of dirty gym mirrors, dudes holding fish. I didn't talk about this last time, but one of the things that really bothers me about being on online dating is that most guys' profiles are for other men. No woman wants to see a picture of you in your dirty gym shorts in a dirty mirror or you holding a fish. Do you think that I care that you caught a big fish and that's going to make me want to...
But you're right. But some dude would be like, oh, dude, that's an awesome big fish you caught.
I was like, why? So I have this theory about why men feel like women don't respond to them. And it's because your dating profile is for your dude friends. So if you want to date a dude, then keep posting those kinds of things. If you want to date a woman, I would suggest posting other things.
Right.
So if you want to know what those are, you can email me. No, I'm just kidding. Don't email me. Figure that out yourself. Yeah. You need to do some work. Yeah. Anyway.
God. So now Amy's just telling my followers that hopefully don't unfollow me after this. Hey, you guys, like get your shit together, and if you don't, then you're stupid.
Well, that's what people loved about me, right? Like, didn't you just say that? So I'm showing her these things on Tinder. This guy's following me. He's like a non-Caucasian man. He's standing outside of what looks to be a cottage. He's wearing very short swim shorts. And he's wearing cowboy boots.
It was a country murder.
It was a country murder photo. Yeah. It was like, if you were going to be murdered in the country, this is the man who's going to do it to you. Yeah. So anyways, his name, I don't know if this is his real name. His Tinder profile's name was Carl.
Yeah.
Okay? Nothing made sense about this profile.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I'm showing her and somehow I tap the thing and I match with Carl. And Kieran and I are literally dying, almost peeing our pants, laughing. It's ridiculous. I don't know what I'm going to do. This guy's going to know that I matched with him. I don't want to match with him. I don't know how to unmatch. I'm not that Tinder savvy yet. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Carl's going to open this and whatever. Anyhow, it doesn't really matter. But that was like the beginning of our weekend, just laughing. Right. And then, so anyways, I also was like scrolling some other people and there's this particular person who had this really weird name. It was Aluminum, which makes no sense, but had a profile that did not have a fish on it and did not have things that
he had a mustache though.
He does still.
Oh yeah. I know, because recently I bumped it.
So anyways,
Aluminum.
We were talking about this and talking about Tinder, talking about Carl, talking about Aluminum, talking about Tinder in general. Anyway, whatever. Time has gone on. I get a birthday card from Kieran. So my birthday was just in February. I get a birthday card, happy birthday. Hope everything's good. La, la, la. Something about whatever. And something about Carl and aluminum.
Yeah, hope your future's filled with less Carls and aluminums and more me or something like
something
that.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So then the funny part of the story is that I had to break it to Kieran that the guy that I'm seeing now is aluminum.
You've been seeing him for a few months.
Yeah, since that day.
Yeah, and you won't let me meet him. Except I bumped into you and this aluminum man at a comedian show, Bert Kreischer.
Yeah.
I was there that day at that show. And I got lost from my pack. Yeah. And my husband and my friends. It was just crowded. It was very overwhelming. I lost them. Mm-hmm. And some lovely woman in the lineup agreed to adopt me because she's like, you need, like come stand in line with me, because you could tell I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm standing in line, I look up and I see you and aluminum, and I'm like, what the fuck? Pointing at you, and then I realize I'm giving this guy like a death stare and like doing the whole 2 fingers to the eye and to him, like I'm looking at you, and then I'm like, my fingers are going up and down, like I'm looking at all of you, and I'm like, what am I doing? And the girl's, oh, what's going on? Like, do you know him, this guy? And I'm like, no, I've actually never met him. This is my friend's boyfriend, and she won't let me meet him. And I don't know if I'll ever see him again. And I couldn't get to you guys. And
Kieran disappeared into the crowd.
Yeah,
and
but
never
his
met.
face looked very fearful.
He was probably like, what the hell?
Like, what is this
girl doing?
What is she saying or doing? Yeah.
I loved it. It was great.
Gosh. But now I met him, so fuck you, Shannon.
Yes.
If you're listening.
I know. Sorry, Schmitty.
Yeah, I beat you.
That was unintentional and serendipitous.
Yeah.
It was
Us friends had a pool, like which one of us will get to meet this guy first. And I mean, I didn't really meet him or talk to him, but whatever. I laid eyes on him first.
That's true. Yeah.
So told him where to go.
Yeah, it was great.
I beat her to it.
Yeah. Well, and there you go. Just another.
That's okay. I softened the blow because, like, you don't want to meet Shannon first. Like, that's a lot. Like, so it's better that he met me first.
Kieran is
then meet Shannon.
Okay.
Number 2.
Kieran is just making sure that she secures her spot at the front of the line, which is fine. Shannon's great. Kieran is great. Both of you will meet aluminum, and it's fine. It'll be awesome.
Whatever. Fuck you, Shannon. I know what we can name this episode.
Fuck you, Shannon.
I'm kidding. I love her so much.
I know. She's the best.
She's really kind.
Yeah.
She's a very, very nice lady.
Yeah.
So, okay, what do you want to put your middle fingers up to?
I know this sounds stupid, but my middle finger is going up for car washes. I know that sounds stupid. I love my car. My car is white, and I like when it's clean. Mm-hmm. And it's been very dirty because it's been very cold here in Calgary, and everything is slushy and whatever. Anyway, it's not the car wash that's the problem, but what I hate is when people lie and tell you that the car wash has hot water when it doesn't.
What? Did you like turn your window open or open your window? How do you do it? Put your window down? Is that what you do?
No, I don't do the drive-through ones, Karen.
Oh.
So I like go to the ones where you like do it yourself.
Oh, wow. Sorry.
And so it's okay. I know.
You be thinking better than me?
I love my... No, but I love my car.
I don't do drive-through car washes.
I know. It sounds...
I drive a Volkswagen.
I love my car. If you go through those ones, you get swirly paint scratches, and I don't want that. So it's a bit car snobbish, you're right. But I do love my car, and so I like going to car washes, which sounds kind of lame, but I do. And the
dads from the 1950s.
Yeah, 100%. I'm totally spoiled. I lived right by a car wash at my old house, and I don't live there anymore because you guys know why. The big D happened. So did the sale of my home and all those things.
You sold your place.
Yeah. House is sold. Divorce is underway. Like, officially. Can't wait. Last name is no longer starting with an H anymore.
Went back down to the S.
Yep.
Yeah.
So really good things happening with that. Process has been really good. All that kind of stuff. Anyway, the car wash that was by my house had hot water. And I know that sounds lame, but it is something that I cannot live without.
Yeah.
And I went to a car wash today by my new apartment, which I love. And the person told me that they had hot water, and they straight up lied. And I will never go to that car wash again.
Bullshit.
So I hate car washes with cold water, and I hate liars.
Liars are the worst.
Yeah. So that's my middle finger.
Lying's what got you divorced.
Yeah, sure is.
Well, not that you were lying, but
nope.
Yeah.
Nope, not me. Whoopsie. Someone else got caught lying. Yeah. Lots and lots of lies.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Well, so where are we at now? So you're in a new place, which is great. I got to go visit, and you're post-divorce, like it's officially done, signed and all that. So like how is there being okay after divorce?
I surprisingly feel really good. Like really good.
Yeah.
I still, like I said, I think I said this, at least I hope I did in the last episode, even though it was still like a bit more fresh at the time. There was lots of things happening.
Mm-hmm.
I feel really appreciative of the time that I had with
Your ex-husband?
with my ex-husband.
Wow.
Yeah, like
Dude.
a lot of reflection about the things that I really enjoyed. I feel really lucky that I was in a mostly great relationship. The ending was surprising and awful and heartbreaking and lots of emotions and lots of things. And I see things about the relationship that were not how I thought they were. Like I can see things different, you know, from a different angle. And so some of that is still painful, of course. It's only been like a year and a bit.
Yeah.
But I can also still feel really grateful for like a lot of people don't have a successful 10-year marriage at, you know, and maybe there were things that were unsuccessful. I'm sure there's lots of things. Like if you can lie to me about the things that you got caught for and caused this, I'm sure there were lots of other lies, but at least I didn't know about them, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I feel really grateful for that relationship. I feel really grateful for lots of things. And I had a lot of good times. I have lots of good memories. I felt loved a lot, which was really good. And so I'm just choosing to like see that period of time as like a time where lots of good things happened too. I grew up, I matured about a lot of things. And then also I experienced a lot of stress. I made a lot of sacrifice. And so like, again, seeing things from a different angle is good because now I can make decisions for myself in my future relationship or my current relationship that are sort of non-negotiables.
Right.
And also really enjoy the person that I'm with now. Because some of the things that I really liked in my previous relationship, he has those qualities. And then some of the things that I really missed out on, he has those qualities too. So I feel really fortunate to be in a position of being able to really go after like what I feel like I deserve in a partner and also give to a partner in a different way, like in a way that I would have liked to, but it wasn't right, I guess. I don't know. So that's still kind of complicated, but I'm honestly really happy. There was no meanness or fighting or, you know, any of the things that I know a lot of other people experience when they end a relationship and divorce happens.
It sounds like you both knew like this was the right thing to do at this point. So how do you argue that? I mean, maybe you still can, I guess, if there's emotions involved.
I think it was just that it was happening and it wasn't something that was going to change. Like it wasn't negotiable at that point. Like it was just, I think when I made the decision that that was it, if I would have wavered on that, there was a possibility that we would still be together. And I'm actually really proud of myself for not wavering because I knew what I needed to do. I knew how I felt. I knew that something really big had changed like immediately. And
like
I think
you?
Yeah, I don't know if I said this last time. Again, I remember a lot of what I talked about, but I can't remember details. But I remember making a decision about, was I going to be more embarrassed by telling people I got divorced or I was getting divorced? Or would I be more embarrassed with myself knowing that I didn't respect myself enough to not end my relationship when someone disrespected me so profoundly? And I don't regret my decision at all.
Yeah, when you look at it that way. Yeah. Well, and I think that's big. That's big of you because it's often when these big things that happen to us or happen with us that are impacting us, we look outward and we look at protecting and caring about the people around us. And especially when those people are supposed to be our supporters and our helpers. And now all of a sudden we're more worried about how we're going to offend or upset or what they're going to say. And it's kind of sad. Yeah. Because that would be the time that you would hope that we could reach out to them, right? And get something from others. But there's just such a stigma with divorce. Yeah. And I think it often in our society, it comes down to it's something that wasn't successful. You know, so it's always looked at a negative thing. Like
it's failed.
You failed, exactly, right? And I was looking at facts and some stats, and I gave up because I'm like, this is dumb. We don't need to get into this. But I was looking at these stats just about all these reasons that can cause a divorce. And it was like a long list of everything. And then reasons how to avoid a divorce. And it was like 2 things. And then recommendations about like, should you even get married? And it's like not worth it and all this stuff. I'm like, where is this? Like, what kind of research is this? And I look back and somehow I got to some divorce law site.
Jeez.
And I'm like, but I'm like, yeah, that's how it is. It's a bad thing, right? Something like you said, something that people have failed at. And
yeah, I feel like if I would have stayed in that marriage, I would have failed myself. And that's more important.
Yeah. Yeah. And probably for your ex too.
Yeah.
Like that, it wouldn't have been the best outcome, I would imagine, in that case for both of you, because it's,
I like I said, I just feel grateful there was no meanness, no fighting. I mean, there's awkwardness, there's regret, I'm sure, whatever, but I truly wish him the best.
Yeah.
In whatever he decides. His life, his trajectory, his story, his fate is his own.
Yeah.
And mine is mine. And I just decided, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Right.
And also have even the things that I talked about last time. I joke around about stuff. I have to have a good sense of humor about things because I'm so sensitive. I'll just be like a wreck all the time. Yeah. But I feel really happy. Like I'm happy in the things that are the universe is delivering to me and the experiences that I'm having, good, bad, ugly, all those things. It's everything is like a lesson for me. Aluminum says I know I want to use his real name, but I also don't want to be inappropriate. So
no, it's Aluminum.
It is what it is
actually,
now.
From now on, I will refer to him as Aluminum both your relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
He says there's wins and lessons. And I really like that because it's true. It's not losses. It's not failures. It's like, okay, I win and that's great. What do I do with that?
Yeah.
And the things that don't end up being the way that I want them to be, that's a lesson. Like, what do I want? Yeah. How did that happen? What did I contribute? What did I not contribute? Yeah, I'm just really grateful for the things I'm getting to experience now. Right. A lot of the things that I was wishing could happen are happening, and I'm like
wishing while you were in your marriage. Yeah, that you're seeing happen now.
Yeah, things that I felt like I wanted and deserved in that relationship that I never got and felt badly about, or I let go of, or whatever. Right. I get to have
justified why you weren't getting that thing. Or whatever. Right. Yeah.
But I have them now. I just didn't have them then. Right. It's fine. Yeah.
So you mentioned at the beginning that like this was sort of a surprise to you. Like, what part of this process was a surprise to you? What was the surprising thing?
I think I'm surprised at how smoothly it went.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm surprised at the way in which I learned how to conduct myself.
Because you think that looking back now, you're surprised in how you would have responded. You think you would have responded a different way?
I think everybody expected me to respond in a different way.
Why?
Because the type of person that I am some of the time in my work and things like that, quick, assertive, rigid are words that describe me. I don't take any bullshit. And I would say that in this, I was all of those things too. Like I was still, the qualities that are the words that people use to describe me are still the things that happened.
Yeah.
But I did not kick and scream. I did not light the garage on fire. I did not do the things that people maybe would have thought that I would do.
Yeah. You have?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie. There were lots of scenarios that happened in my head about those things.
Right. Well, even Amanda talked about like friends offering to slash tires.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, don't think for one second I was like, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also like, what does that say about me?
Right.
I know it probably sounds selfish, and I'm really not a selfish human being. And so I think that's probably it. Like I was really selfish in this whole thing. Like, what do I want for myself? What do I deserve? How do I want people to perceive me in this event, for lack of a better term? How do I want to walk away from this? Or like, how do I want to, if someone was writing a storybook, what would I want them to write? That I went crazy, that I lost my mind, that I was a maniac, that I was mean? No, none of those things. I want the story to be like whatever it is now. I kept my cool. I was level-headed. I did all the things that were very hard to do with kindness. I took steps to heal myself and leaned on my friends in a way that I hadn't before. and deepened relationships with people that were important to me.
Right. Yeah.
Spent time with you and Amanda and Shannon and Aaron, laughing and feeling like myself, a funny, outgoing, adventurous, silly, whatever human.
Yeah.
That I guess I would, when I chose not to do that as much when I was in the marriage. I chose to spend a lot of time with my partner, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
I like I said, I enjoyed the time, but yeah, in hindsight, I was like, I think I said before, like, it dimmed my light. That's what my friend Christy said.
Right.
And that was the perfect example. And when she said that to me, I was, how dare I let that happen to myself? And I'm going to turn the light back up. And that's like the goal. That's what I've been doing, and just doing things that I want to do. Yeah. And it's been great.
What have you been doing to
like turn it up?
Yeah.
Well,
what do you mean?
Like only do things that like made me feel happy. Oh. Like if people were like, hey, do you want to do this?
Yeah.
I would be like, no. And here's why. Not in a mean way, but no. Right. Stopped agreeing to doing things that I didn't want to do. Created opportunities for myself. So invited, let's go for brunch. Yeah. Let's do this.
Yeah, you did. I noticed that about you. A lot of like, hey, let's get together.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we reschedule. Like, this is important. Yeah.
No, I need a date. This is, you guys fill my bucket. I need this for myself. Yeah. I know that it's important to you. It's important to me. I will be in charge of this if this is what needs to happen. And that's not very like me either. Like I'm not a plan maker. I'm a show up. Like I'm a solid show. You tell me when and where, I will be there unless I tell you I'm not coming.
Yeah. Unless if you got so hungover the night before your hip hop brunch and you show up I showed up. Yeah. And then you made everyone at the table suffer the whole time. I don't like that. No. Why is this that? No. I looked at Amanda and I'm like, she's so fucking funny right now. Like, that's good. No, you had a good night. I'm glad. I'm glad that your friend and you brought your birthday in to that level. Good for you.
Well, that's an example. I had not been drunk. Not that I'm not a big drinker.
Yeah, I know.
But I was like before when I was young. I was like a good time. Yeah. My nickname was Wild Child. Like people loved hanging out with me and whatever. I was a good time. So, but I had not actually drank enough to be drunk. And so I make these plans with my birthday, and my girls were going for a hip hop brunch. And I went out the night before. The person I'm seeing's friend group, it was awesome. I had a really good time. Yeah. By the end of the night, I guess I was drinking bourbon out of the bottle with a good friend of his. It was great. I had a blast. And and the next morning I was terribly ill. I was...
You didn't look good, man.
I needed to cancel, but I refused because I was so appreciative of people rallying for me that I could not do that, but I wanted to die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You look like it.
Thanks. You fucking bitch. It was rough. Yeah, it was rough. It was a good time though. I appreciated you guys coming.
It's a cool place. We should go back there.
This Sunday. Yeah. I think it's once a month. So
this Sunday.
It was good. The music was good. The food was good. The drinks were good if I could have tolerated them. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. Maybe I'll meet you there.
Okay, let me know.
Okay, but so
just
like not isolating yourself.
I bought comedy tickets. I love comedy. I went, so shout out to the comedian that was on Kieran's show, the episode before me. Yay. I love comedy. I went to a ton of comedy shows. I bought tickets. Like I'm going to Dr. Dre, the orchestra version of it, next weekend.
That's awesome.
I just like doing some of the things that I just didn't do before, and like just getting tickets, not having a plan. That's not like me. I'm a planful person. I like to know what's going on. Just kind of winging it a little bit more, making it work. So that's been really good. Therapy was good. We can talk about that. That was pretty impactful because I didn't do traditional therapy.
Yeah. Can we talk about that?
Well, I did. Yeah. I did. Sorry, I should clarify. I saw a credentialed therapist who did 3 sessions of like your average talk therapy EMDR. So I know that that technique has been talked about in other episodes on the podcast. EMDR didn't work super well for me. I'm not very good at guided visualization and things like that. Yeah. So in EMDR, for me anyway, the movement, the rapid eye movement is a part of it, but you're also supposed to visualize. And the things that I was supposed to be visualizing, I am not going to lie, I said that I was, and I was not. I was not. I lied to my therapist. And if she's
Were you acting?
I just said, yeah, I can. I couldn't.
believable. Like, look at a therapist is believing.
I was just gonna say, I'm certain that she did not believe me. However, she did not confront me about that.
Maybe they're not supposed to.
I feel like the conversation that was the point.
Yeah.
Was the conversation that we had.
Yeah. That was the helpful piece.
Yeah. I didn't stop doing the things or talking about the things that she was talking to me about because I couldn't visualize. I still, in my mind, I could picture the things that she was asking me. I just couldn't like get to that place of the actual visualization of whatever she was trying to get me to do. So I did.
Are you like a person that does meditation?
No.
See, I'm like that too. So I wonder if maybe that's interesting.
People continue to tell me that there's like certain things you can do. That's another story. We made a joke earlier about the Nordic spa. Anyways, I did go to the Nordic spa for my birthday with one of my girlfriends who was here, Joanne, who I love. And she was the one who also was with me the party night. And part of the reason why I was so sick on my birthday for hip hop brunch.
Yeah.
Anyways, good time, Joe Mama.
Look at you throw her under the bus.
I love her. She's a party.
She was a party. You know what? She showed up to your hip hop brunch and she fucking made that table
100%
be the party central of that place, because we were all just like sitting there and she's double fisting drink. I'm like, this woman was with you looking like the way you looked, and she's like, round 2.
Yeah, I know. She has been in my life for so long. I'm so grateful for her. She's a part of this story too, actually, of like the therapy piece. Yeah. And sort of the direction that I went and sort of help giving some people some ideas about some things about how to sort of enhance their therapeutic experience or where their brain thinks about. So at the Nordic spa, I got shout out to the Nordic spa in Kananaskis. I got the best massage I've ever had my entire life there. And it was not relaxing. It was relaxing, but it was also painful. And my body's never felt better. Yeah. And we were talking about meditation and whatever. And so the gentleman who was giving me a massage told me the name of a different type of meditation. And I've gotten farther in that than I have in any other type. So I don't know what it is. I can tell you what it is or whatever afterwards, but I've never been able to. I got kicked out of yoga at the end of yoga 3 times. I got told not to come back. Anyway, yeah. So I don't have any Zen. Like, if you didn't already catch on to that, I just don't. And my internal monologue is often external, and I interrupt people all the time. I get excited about things. Yeah. And so, like visualization and relaxation are not for me. Yeah. I think that's part of why EMDR was difficult for me. But the point of doing it was really to go into other pieces of therapeutic value. Who are you? There's like, oh gosh, I'm not going to do any justice now, but like, there's a notion of there's protectors in you, or there's different roles of people, and different protectors take different roles. Yeah. And so this was like all a part of it, because I initiated therapy and talked to a bunch of people about some things that I wanted to do. At the beginning of me seeking out this therapist and a particular type of therapy, which I got honestly very lucky, because I spoke with a colleague and my colleague gave me the name of this person. And I'm really grateful for that, because some of the therapeutic things that they were doing they're legitimate and they're gold standard, and they're not unethical or anything, but they're not being advertised right now because of some of the logistics of some of the treatments, I guess. I'll talk about it after. But anyway, I was going to do ayahuasca and I did a bunch of research. I knew that I was selling my house. I knew I was divorcing. I knew I was going to have a bunch of money. And I was like, I'm going to go to Costa Rica. I'm going to eat ayahuasca. I'm going to all the terrible things that happen to you when you do that, I'm mentally preparing for, and I'm going to go and I'm going to do it. And like,
why did you want to do this?
I just knew in this instance of how I felt about how I was treated and like, why is this happening? Why would someone who loves me do this to me? Right. Like all of that negative narrative. Yeah. I don't remember the last time I was happy, genuinely happy. Lots of happy things happen, but I can't picture it. I can't feel it. Right. I remember my childhood. Like, I have lots of pictures. It's kind of a joke. It's a joke because I make light of it. It's not actually funny. And I do not hate my mom or my dad, or but I don't remember being happy. Yeah. Like, I really don't. There's pictures and photo albums of me.
You're just like,
and I'm crying.
Oh my God.
Crying at my birthday, crying sitting in a rain suit in a puddle, crying a lot. Like I'm a Pisces, I'm on the cusp. Some people think that's hokey. I also think it's hokey, but I'm a really sensitive, emotional person.
Yeah.
I'm an empath. I work in a line of work where I take on a lot of things for people.
Right.
And I think because I have taken on so much for other people that I have not made enough space for me to feel the things that I feel or want to feel or should feel in the way that I should. And so I see other people experiencing like joy and happiness, excitement, and I want to have those things, but I can't think of times where I actually really, really felt those things.
For like you like feel them like a moment in time, but not like for a long period or
well, or people are like, oh, are you excited about that thing? And I'm, yeah,
right.
I'll be excited when I'm there. And then I'm there and I'm too busy making sure that the next thing is the thing that's supposed to happen or whatever. So that was a part of it too, like stopping and enjoying things. Yeah, just laughing when we went on the trip, just stopping and laughing, like just really laughing at how ridiculous that thing was and just be crying because I'm laughing. Those things are just things that I want to feel more things more intensely or deeply, because I can feel intense frustration. I can feel intense irritation. I can feel intense, I would say more negative emotions than good ones.
Yeah.
And so a part of that was like, okay, I want to like break. There's like, I have a crust or there's like I've built a protection of myself, of my brain, of my heart or whatever.
Yeah, like a wall.
And I don't know how to undo what I built to protect myself for whatever reason that I did that. And I need something to do that for me.
Yeah.
And I read a ton of research. I wasn't, okay, I saw this one thing or this comedian said blah. I deep dove into the impact on the brain, the science, the plant medicine. My best friend when I was young is Indigenous from Cree Nation by Edmonton. And I always, her mom used smudge. And when she was sick or when I was sick, she would give us medicine from the earth. And so those are things that are not like new concepts to me. And, you know, being in the mental health field and also my background's in addictions and like the understanding of the draw to medicines and the difference between drugs and medicines and people I've run into in my life that have ADHD undiagnosed who want to smoke marijuana because it calms the feelings down. I am knowledgeable, but also not like indoctrinated fully about why people do things or make choices. I just deep dove into ayahuasca. And then I was, okay, so if that's something that's going to take time because I'm going to have to wait to sell my house and I'm not that close yet, what can I do in the meantime? And so I was like, okay, I'm going to look into psilocybin and I'm going to start looking and at that very juncture, which is like, again, the universe, like giving me something, I feel like the accessibility to capsules and microdosing what happened in Alberta and in Canada. So I started microdosing. I didn't tell anybody really. I just started doing it because I need to start chipping away at whatever this wall is. And I feel like this is worthwhile. I had done mushrooms when I was young, like as a recreational drug and had a really good time. And I don't have like an addictive personality. I don't have issues with limitations. I don't like, I don't drink like a bottle of wine a night like a lot of people do. I don't mean that in a judgy way, but that's just not something that's like a part of my relaxation routine. So I was like, okay, this is medicine and this is how I'm going to use it. And I ordered from a particular company, shout out to Spore Microdose. You can buy it on the internet. They have a really great Instagram
Is that where you
site.
got my Christmas presents from?
Yes.
Oh,
and yes.
It's fun New Year's.
You're welcome. I started microdosing and most people are like, oh, you're doing mushrooms, you're getting high. And it's like, no, that's not what it is. You can for sure. You could eat 10 of your capsules or get a chocolate bar. Highly recommend. Super fun. For recreation if you want to, but the microdosing for me just really, I don't know, gave me an extra second to think or made me before I stopped letting myself enjoy something, gave me an extra second to just sit in that for a second before my brain takes over. And now I'm into like, what do I have to do next?
Yes.
And so I found that really helpful. And I started microdosing one type in the morning and a different type in the evening, because one of the types has CBD, so it helps you relax and go to sleep. I don't sleep well. I'm sure you could have already deducted that from the way my brain works and how busy it is. And I just started feeling better. I started feeling more relaxed. I started thinking about things differently. I started talking about that. So when I was seeing the therapist, who I saw on purpose because she agreed to allow me to be a part of her work in macrodosing. So microdosing is like tiny doses. So I take a capsule.
Clinical research or whatever she was doing.
Yeah. So
that's the only way that there's been approval in Alberta. Has received, we're the first province in all of Canada that has some leeway to perform this, and so there's clinics
So you can do ketamine, which I'm not.
And that has been legal longer because it was. And so if we can just back up for a second, because so psilocybin is like a molecule that is basically the same kind of molecule that would be in LSD. And so it's like serotonin levels in our brain. Yeah. And these levels have been known through studies and research to help treat people with things like post-traumatic stress disorder, as well as people that are dealing with anxiety and depression. Yeah. And, they're doing all sort of clinical trials with MDMA and all sorts of different drugs like these that they used to do back in 60s or whatever, and then LSD got out, right? MK Ultra. Is that from the
when
boys?
Things got off the rails, no, MK Ultra is actually a study that the CIA did, and the story is that Helter Skelter was because they were. Charles Manson was connected to MK Ultra. Right. It's all a part of the seriously, It just got out of control apparently. But anyway, that's speculation for the record. Please don't come after me. We're not legitimate sources about MK Ultra. We're not
doing some kind of big TED talk.
No.
That's kind of the gist of it, right? And so now everyone is sort of saying, oh, maybe we need to go back and do some more studying here because we were sort of figuring some things out back in the day, and I think we can do this better. And so there's all these findings. So you got to be part of this sort of research.
Yeah. So I had to do the therapy component. That's a part of it. And then
that's always like step one. You have to go. And even with EMDR, any kind of specialty therapy assessment they're going to do, there has to be some pre-work.
Yeah. You have to meet criteria in order to participate.
Qualifies
that's correct. Yeah. Like if I was, let's do MDMA treatment because I love
cocaine.
Like to party. Woo! Like you don't qualify. I'm sure whatever. But so that was a part of like I had to meet the criteria. I talked about what I was doing. I talked about whatever my experiences. She had to feel comfortable with me. She outlined like what the experience was going to be. So like I was saying, so I was microdosing already on myself. Yeah. I told her about that. I disclosed that to her. Like, I just believe in this type of medicine. I believe my brain is like protecting me from things. I did that to myself. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to start opening up a bit. Right. I can't do it on my own. These are the things I've tried to do. It has not been effective. So now I'm like at this point that I'm doing this. And so she talked about, okay, so microdosing is like, I take 100 milligram capsule. That's 1/10 of a gram. If you think about like recreational use, people will eat like a gram of mushrooms. Mm-hmm. Maybe you get the giggles. Maybe you get to see some fun things. Maybe not. And so when she's like, okay, well, this is different than that. You're going to come to this particular location. You are going to bring these certain things with you. So like a yoga mat, an eye blocker, something that like is meaningful to you, like a journal, if you think that's appropriate, some snacks, things like that. This is going to be like a 6-hour process. I'm going to play music and it's going to kind of impact your journey. I'm going to be in and out. I'm going to observe you. You're never going to be by yourself. These types of emotions are going to come out. This is what you can expect to see.
Well, like what kind of emotions would come out?
Well, she just said the purpose, which is exactly what I was looking for, was the intensity of my emotions, which she could not really predict. She couldn't be like, you're going to be very happy and giggly and smiley.
Okay, like whatever you're going to experience could be intense.
That's correct. And like, if that happens, I'm going to come and sit with you. I will hold your hand. I will get you water. I will, whatever, like you're safe, you're okay. The amazing thing about this particular instance is this person has a practice in her home. Her home is out in the country. It's on the top of a hill. It looks at the mountains, and I live in Calgary for the specific reason that I believe that I am like connected to the earth and to the mountains. I'm never happier than when I can see the peaks of mountains and the sun hitting the snow. And even when we were just doing the therapy piece, I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Like the mountains are calling me. And the room in which I was in, you could see the mountains. It was like a wall. She has a beautiful home. It was like a wall of windows. I could look at the mountains the whole time. And so, yeah, like the music was loud, all these things. So she told me what was going to happen and how the music was going to impact sort of a part of the journey. And it's like all connected and all
What
these
kind of
things.
music is it?
Mostly sort of drumming, like a drumming circle, some sort of indigenous chanting, not chanting, that's not really the right word, but like singing. There was some actual words in the songs at some point, but so she prepared me for this. So I'll go into detail about it, but I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm definitely like, I definitely want to do this. I'm fully prepared to do it. I trust you. I know you're going to take care of me. And so we booked it, and she was like, okay, I just need to be clear. Like, this is a macro dose. And so, like I said, I was already experiencing good things from the micro dose every day. That was more, I would take the dogs for a walk. I have 2 dogs. I would take them for a walk, and I would be like looking at the trees while I was walking, like you do when you're walking a dog, and something would catch my eye. And as if I was a camera, it would zoom in, and the thing that I was looking at would look very crisp and very sharp and beautiful. Not like everything's so beautiful, not like that, just sharp and detailed and but beautiful.
Like you could focus in on something.
So and not like I really zoomed in, just like I was looking at it. And if I was looking at something, it slightly adjusted a camera lens. So I could just see things a slightly clearer. Not like a hallucination, not like a visual really, but just something. I could drive my car. I could go to the grocery store. I didn't feel uncomfortable. Like if I smoke weed, I can't drive my car. Okay. Like I can't go to the grocery store. I can't like do those things. So I'm not high, but I definitely noticed something that just made, again, I could just feel something for an extra second or see something like slightly clear.
Glasses.
Kind of a little bit. Yeah. So I was okay. Like if the microdose is doing this, imagine what the macrodose can do. And since my goal was to really like break something open, I was like, great, I'm down. I ate 6 grams of mushrooms with her. And I remember her being like, oh, that was quick. And I was like, I'm motivated.
you like just shoved 6 grams.
Just yeah, it was, I don't even know how I did it because I think it's disgusting. I just, again, I was so motivated to get to this place and do this thing. And
capsule or like chocolate?
We talked about that after. I was like, you should really put these in capsules. Like, I cannot believe I just did that. Yuck.
Yeah.
But also I was like, down the hatch. This is what I've been working towards. I was with her for like 6 hours. I laid on the floor on a yoga mat under a blanket. She had a dog and a cat, and they were allowed to come in the room because I'm a pet lover. Yeah. There was, the music was loud. I wore these like light blocking glasses, and the music started, and she was talking to me. She wrote some things down. She asked me some questions. I was really clear about what was going to happen in terms of like timeline and things like that. And
was that to like help you feel like you were still in control?
I guess so. Like just make sure I had an awareness or whatever. And yeah, it took about 45 minutes for them to kick in. I could feel it immediately. I knew what that was going to feel like because I'd also done recreationally before. And I knew when my body started feeling differently. And then, I just went, I actually struggled in the beginning because she was doing some some visualization with me, but also like paying attention to different parts of my body, like how they felt, sort of muscle relaxation, and like asking if I could like see lights or anything like that. Cause I took a lot of drugs, like it was a lot of medicine. Yeah. And,
was it more than she was hoping to give you? Or?
No, it was the appropriate first dosage. And so she's done this. She's a professional. She can anticipate when people are going to start feeling things and whatever. Oh, sorry. I should mention too, she did a blessing. We smudged And so that was really important to me. I didn't ask for that. She offered it. I accepted it. It was really lovely. And
Right.
honestly, it made me feel really taken care of, which I was really appreciative of.
Yeah.
It wasn't clinical. There are many clinics that are very clinical and that may make people feel safe.
Yes,
But for me, that would not be the thing. I spend a lot of time. I have an autoimmune disease.
Yeah,
I sit in the hospital.
Yeah.
That would not have been the place for me. So I was very, very grateful to her for giving me the option to do it where I was at the one clinic or
Right.
at her spot. And I don't think the experience would have been what it was if I was at the clinic. So I just want to say that nothing against clinics. I just don't think it would have been good for me.
Yeah.
So really good blessing, went into it, started. She asked me if I was seeing things. I was a little bit disappointed, but not surprised because again, I'm not the visualized person.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was doing in there when I was laying there, I felt like I was laying on the floor, which I was, in a dark room, which it was because I was wearing like color blocking things. But while I was laying there, I remember visualizing not lights above me, but like as if you were like a little kid or an adult and you're in a dark room and you're laying on the floor and the only thing you can see is like a slight bit of light from like what's coming under a door. So that was like, I didn't get any really fun stuff at the beginning.
Yeah.
So then that happened. And then I remember just feeling so fucking sad.
Oh, interesting. Like out of nowhere?
I could feel it coming.
Yeah. But you don't know why.
No. But I'm going to get teary, but like the most heavy, the most sadness, I can't even explain it. And so she's talking me through it. I'm crying, like tears are just pouring out of my eyes. I still have this stupid mask on. Yeah. The mask is wet. It's grossing me out. Like, and the thing is like, I'm very, very, very on the medicine. Like the medicine is very much a part of what's happening. And I am also extremely logical and very aware at the same time, which is an interesting feeling.
So it's like two competing forces in some ways?
Not competing, but also like I could think straight. Like I could make sense of things, but also like
I'm upset right now because I'm on a heavy dose of medicine.
Well, it's doing its job. This is what's supposed to happen. Let it happen.
Yeah.
But also this mask feels icky on my face. I'm going to need to take it off of my face now. Like it is kind of like competing and weird. And so she's talking to me and she's whatever, just walking me through like, hey, you know, this is what maybe you're feeling, blah, blah, blah. And she talks about an armor laying over top of me. So again, I'm not very good at this visualization. Yeah. So I'm like,
nope. Feel the armor.
Yeah, nope. But what I couldn't see it, I couldn't visualize it, but I did feel like as if there was a blanket over top of me, but this was different, like a layer of whatever, like a fabric was on me and now it was just above me.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And not like an angel or a being, nothing like that, just a fabric, like a thin piece of me, like a piece of my fabric was off of me so that the sadness, I could feel it.
Oh, interesting.
And it was like, it was, I know that sounds bad. Like, oh my God, that sounds so horrible. You were so sad. I was so sad.
Yeah.
And I cried for 4 hours and a half straight.
Wow.
And not like I was inconsolable.
Wow.
And
that's exhausting.
While this is happening, one, I have no concept of how long. I'm just listening to the music.
And she's there?
Yeah, she's in and out, which is fine. I kept the mask on for a long time. And then I was like, I got to take it off. She was like, no problem. You can do whatever you want. You can go outside. You can go see the horses. You can go do whatever you want. I couldn't leave the room. I was like, no, I need the protection of these walls, but I can see the mountains, which is good.
Right.
And I need my blanket. And the cat came to see me.
Yeah.
The cat laid on my chest for a while. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Sleepwalkers. No. It's by Stephen King. It's a horror movie, which also sounds horrible, but no.
I don't watch those things. I have enough horror in my life.
The cat would come and lay on me.
Yeah.
And when it would lay on me, it would purr and it would knead the dough. So like put its little paws on me. And in Sleepwalkers, the cats would suck your soul out.
Oh,
but what this cat was doing was taking some of the sadness for me.
Oh, wow.
And then he would go and come back when I needed him to and go and come back. It was really lovely, actually. I was really, and the dog came and laid with me and I'm a dog person. And it was like, I don't hate cats, but like whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like a really lovely thing. But yeah, I remember too, I sat up and she was like, hey, I'm going to touch your back. And she touched my back. And it's like I could feel her again, like taking some of the sadness away from me, which made me cry 10 times harder. And that went on for a very long time. And
like, do you know what was bringing up the emotion, or you were in feeling? You didn't know what was. Wow,
not really.
Have you ever been in that place like that,
No,
upset
like
and
that.
not know what the cause is?
No. She asked me some questions, which was really nice. She got me like to kind of think. I just remember telling her, I've just been so sad for so long.
Yeah.
Like, just not like I don't have depression.
Yeah.
Not like that.
Yeah.
Just sad. Like, again, I don't remember being happy.
Yeah.
And so there was no like particular thing or whatever. And that went on for a long time. And then I got to a point where I was like able to start sort of making sense of some things, but also I was very under the medicine. The mountains were like growing and shrinking, getting closer and farther. She took me outside and sat outside with me and like wrapped me in a blanket. It was crisp. It was windy. It was sunny. Yeah. And the mountains were like doing their thing in my mind, like buzzing, breathing with me and moving with the wind. And so I was like hallucinating for sure, which is fine. It wasn't scary or anything, but I remember I was sitting there and she was like, oh, do you mind if I smoke this like sage cigarette? And I was like, no problem, whatever. And she was just talking to me. She was eating cheese and crackers and like whatever. She was trying to get me to eat, but I wouldn't eat. Yeah. She offered me a bunch of times. She got me to eat in the end. I'll tell you about that. And then I just remember being like, there was a big gust of wind and it was really cold and it was sharp, but you could really feel it. And I was, that's me. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was, I'm the wind. She was like, what does that mean? And I was like, I don't know. But that's how I feel sometimes. Yeah. Like I'm sharp, I'm cold. I'm not always cold, but I can be. And
that's what like you hear from others too. So it's like the chicken or the egg, which came first? Is it that this is how I am, or is this sort of the environment that I've been in, and now people are like, this is how you are, but that's what you've been told all this time. Like, you know, as you're saying, you remember, there's pictures of you. There's a reason why sadness has been peeled sort of out of you in that moment, right? It's like layers of sadness, as you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, it was fine. It wasn't like upsetting to me. Yeah. But like also I remember too, like being a little girl and laying with the sun on your face. Yeah. When I went back inside, I was like not coming down. I was still like very under the influence of the medicine, but I was sort of, the sadness had kind of subsided in the intensity that it was. Also, I went to the washroom and washed my face. When you are that high, do not look in the mirror. Do not look in the mirror after you've been crying for 4.5 hours. God. I was like, I'm a mutant.
Is it as bad as when you're the hairstylist?
It was
look in the mirror?
100% worse.
Oh, shit.
I was
your car mirror worse than that.
Yeah, I was like, God. That is not what you look like. You are not a mutant. You are on drugs and you have been crying for 4.5 hours. Your eyes are puffy. Like, you are fine. I had to talk myself. So that's what I mean. Like, I was very under the medicine, but also very logical. Yeah. So I'm inside now and my therapist goes and she's making dinner. So I'm there at 2:00 until 8:00. I'm there for 6 hours. Right. And earlier I had thought about, when's she going to eat dinner?
You're worried about her.
I'm worried. Yeah. I'm under the influence of medicine and I'm worried. So she prepares this meal. Yeah. And the whole time I'm tripping out. The print on my blanket is, it's like from IKEA. It's got like a Nordic inspiration on it, whatever. It's kind of colorful. It's like a little blankie. Yeah. And it's like moving and things are moving and the light's coming in. It's changing and whatever. And I'm having a full on conversation with me about how she's preparing this meal. And I am here and I am very sad and very on drugs and tripping out in her thing, in this beautiful room, in this beautiful home, in this beautiful environment. And all she wants to do is eat dinner. And she's going to come in here and she's going to sit with me and eat dinner. But where she eats dinner is at the dinner table. And you are stopping her from eating dinner where she would eat dinner. Like, this is what's happening in my brain. Jeez. That is me as a human being. all the time.
Right.
All the time. My brain doesn't stop
Yeah.
thinking about how I am impacting other people,
Right.
what they must be thinking, every detail, which is what I'm really great at, paying attention to the details. And she does exactly what I knew she was going to do.
Yeah.
She brings a plate in. She offers me food. I decline the food. And then I apologize repeatedly
Because you probably feel
because
guilty
I'm like, I am not ungrateful. I do not want to be rude to you.
Yeah.
Do you want, I said,
Now
would
you
you,
offended her.
I told her,
maybe.
I was like, do you normally eat at the dinner table? And she was like, yes. And I was like, would you like to sit at the dinner table? And she was like, no, I'm fine here. And I was like, no, seriously, I am interrupting your dinner time. And she immediately is like, stop it. This is your appointment. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
You are not bothering me I don't mind sitting here and eating.
Yeah.
I would like you to eat. That's a part of this too.
Yeah.
When you think you can eat, can you please tell me? And
But like, it's like you put mounds and mounds and mounds of pressure on yourself, right?
So much.
Because like even on I'm just thinking of your drive here.
Yeah.
You were running a few minutes behind and I'm all like chill, whatever. Because, it's fun when I get to record with friends and family and people that are sharing a story. Like it's different level of some interviewing someone and their expertise.
Yeah.
And you were upset because you were running late and you're like, I'm so sorry, whatever, a lot of the lights are red. And I'm like, you're attracting that energy too. Yeah. And also gives a fuck? Like you're not, I'm not going to like,
you're not that important.
Life-saving surgery that if you're not here in 5 minutes, right? Yeah. Like we're all good, but just get here safe. And also I want you to come in a good space.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, whatever, chill, it's all good. And you're like, thank you for that. I needed that. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I could feel it too, because I could tell that you were feeling like you're letting me down because you said you would be somewhere by a certain time. And it's like, okay, like you're good. You're all good. Right. So I can imagine. And now you're on this medicine too. And that's who you already are. You're at this extra heightened level of, oh my gosh, who cares about me? You poor you. And good for her to be like,
she reframed it and was like, she was like, I've spent, multiple sessions with you before talking about lots of things and this now. And the one thing I know about you for certain is you are the most grateful person. You're so, because I just kept saying like, thank you so much for inviting me to your home. Thank you for taking care of me like this. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Like she was like, you are one of the most grateful people. And I truly am, which is I
know you get so weird though. I know. You're swimming over for dinner or something. I know you're appreciative, but you're like, it's so uncomfortable with how appreciative you are. Like you feel so awkward with your gratitude.
I know.
Because you have so much of it. Like you're like, dude, these people know how appreciative I am because I gotta tell them that if they don't know, right? And it's like we feel it. My neighbors can feel it.
I know.
Like,
I don't know. I am kind of weird. So
I'm not saying that's weird. I'm just saying that, I mean, yeah, sure, maybe it's weird, but who am I to say that? It's cool to talk to you about these awarenesses and these things that you have recognized about yourself and to go through this experience that you're talking about and elevating something or trying to get to the bottom of something, right? Like you're trying to get, there's something there. And I think for many of us, we have all sorts of lights that have dimmed and we want to do something about it. And some of us do. And a lot of us, it's hard. Yeah. Because it's best, at least I know right now what it's like to be in this place, right? Like you're trying to get to this other side of what's this unknown. And that's it takes a lot to tap. I'm making fun of you all today, but I really do seriously want, say like, kudos to you because you're letting go. Like you need, for people that need to be in charge or holding on or in control of something, you're entering a zone that you're completely, you don't really know. Even though you can tell parts of your experience, you're trying to still be you. Yeah.
So I got to a point where,
Did you eat first of all?
I ended up eating, but not at that point. Like I asked her if I could wait a little bit, which she let me. So I'm glad that you said that because this light came in. So that is literally what happened in the moment. So I'm still just sitting there. She's quiet. She's not bothering me. She's not, I know that she's present, but she's not influencing the experience.
Right.
So I feel like I need to lay back down again. I lay on the floor, I'm staring, the sun's coming in a different window because it's getting dark, the light's moving, and in this window shines light from a different angle, and in this room has a really high ceiling, and I never noticed it when I was there before because I wasn't looking at it, I was looking at the mountains. There's this beautiful bookshelf, and on this bookshelf is a bunch of different things. I know people refer to them as like knickknacks or tchotchkes or whatever you want to call them, but things that people had gathered her, gifts that they had given her like on their travels. And it's in these like little compartments and like little boxes kind of thing. So in my mind, I then, this is the moment where I get a little crack in this crust or whatever I want to call it. And I'm looking at it and I'm seeing all these things, but all these things turn into boxes, little boxes, bigger boxes, little boxes, but all small. Like small little gift boxes or like a glass box or like a ceramic box or a decorated box or whatever, like little things. But there's like hundreds of them all on their own little shelf. And I realize I've put so many things into tiny boxes and put lids on them because that's what I do to protect myself from whatever, except that I also put lots of good things in those boxes. And I'm not feeling the things that I'm supposed to be feeling because while I'm so good at putting the things I don't want to feel into boxes, I've also learned how to put the things that I should be enjoying into the boxes too. And so this like compartmentalization, which is a protective factor for lots of people, and I'm very happy I have learned how to master it, especially in my work, which is probably something that I have to think about in a different way because that's all I can see. So the job for me, as I've come out of this, I did eat dinner. I sobered up, for lack of a better term. The medicine wore off. I was able to drive home that night and all those kinds of things. And it was really lovely. And I'm so grateful for the experience. And I'm going again. And I'm going to, anyway, it'll happen again. But I've been delaying it because also it'll be bigger. And I'm not avoiding it because my experience was negative. My experience was really good. But also the farther you push yourself, when you let good in, you can also let in some of the things that are painful. And so as the divorce was getting closer and I was selling my house, there was lots of things that I was feeling good about, but also emotional about. And I didn't want to and do another macro dose and have the bad things take over. I want to be in a good place when I do it again so that I can embrace that. But also I'm starting to recognize too, one, I didn't even get to think about the divorce or the relationship. Like I didn't even get there. I was still in just being a child, feeling how I felt when I was little, feeling how that feeling followed me and all these things. Like I kind of had hoped that I would have this profound, eye-opening thing about the divorce and blah, 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 which I didn't. I mean, it did, but not in the way that I pictured it. But and like, I don't...
over 40 years in the making, right? And when you're like, these layers you're talking about, like you're unpeeling an onion in some ways. Another way looking at it, however... There's so many layers to you. And so if it's this many years in the making, how many years in the unmaking is it going to be? Right.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting because so many times we have these conversations. I was having this morning coffee reflection with a friend today too, about this experience or sort of the patterns that we get into, habitual pattern. But at the end of the day, like if we pay attention to why do I kind of go into this pattern, like why do I have a big reaction to something that maybe isn't? It's always to some degree connected to our childhood.
Yeah.
And even you're sitting here and saying you didn't even get to where you currently are because there's a lot of that past, and you describe it as compartmentalizing. And for many people in their own way, that's what we do. Yeah. And we're taught at a young age to put it away and not trust our gut and not do these kinds of things.
Yeah.
And so, we're just getting by. Yeah. And I can imagine why you'd want to take a break and process some of the things that you are going through. Can I ask though, like after this session, what were the next 24 to 48 hours like for you, like emotionally, mentally, physically, like all of that? Like what, did you feel any different? Did you wake up, whatever? Or were emotions and things like, I'm so curious of what that was like for you.
I felt like really, I felt tired. Obviously I cried for like 5 hours hysterically. Like I slept really well. She told me we did it on a Saturday so I could relax all day Sunday.
Right.
Like I had a good sleep. I was really not lethargic, but like I just made myself have a lazy, like low key day.
Yeah.
I felt like I felt clear.
Oh.
I felt like, yeah, you know what? I do feel sad about lots of things, and I did all these things, and I'm ready. I'm ready to do some things. My mom lived nearby, and a lot of the things that I was sad about were things like I didn't feel important, like I didn't feel heard, I didn't feel valued about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And the experiences that I had were not what I had hoped for or
Mm-hmm.
like imagined, or they should have been this way or whatever.
Right.
Not judgmental or what's the word? Entitled. Not like that. That's not the feeling, but just things didn't happen the way that I think happened for other people, or the way how I felt about them. I don't really know. I'm still like making sense of those things, but I do remember my childhood was pretty rocky. I was pretty stressed. I knew that. I've made sense of that. I don't have any resentments about that. And I talked to my mom, and a lot of the sadness is connected to her and my experience when I was a little girl and not feeling important,
Right.
and her decision making about relationships. And I talked to her about that. And I know that it hurt her for me to say those things. But the most important thing was, this is how I feel about them. I've never been brave enough to tell you, and I'm telling you, and I'm not telling you to hurt you. And I don't think you did anything wrong.
Yeah.
But this is how I felt.
Yeah.
And I deserved better. And I don't think you didn't give it to me because you meant to do those things to me, but you didn't.
Yeah.
And these things grew me into the woman that I am, and I'm really grateful for them, and I'm not mad at you. But you could have done better for me. And she was lovely and accepting, and she got teary and she apologized to me, and it wasn't a big thing. She took some time to reflect. She checked in with me the next day and was just, I'm really sorry. And I was just, I don't need an apology, Mom. Like, it's really important for you to really hear me. It's not about that. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know. I just don't. I harbor zero resentment.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't. Like, the sadness that I was carrying for so long left me in that room.
Right.
Like, I still feel emotional about it because it sucks that I didn't feel it or didn't know it and I could have experienced some things differently, but I didn't. So like, what am I going to do about that turn back time? I don't have that luxury. So do I want to keep carrying it? No, but I will say for sure, like in my waiting, I don't microdose as much as I do. I think I actually need to turn that up again. And because some of that stuff is like creeping back in. Yeah. It's therapy. Like, integration is what you do afterwards. So I met with her afterwards. Like, I didn't just get to like macrodose trip balls and then leave. Yeah. There's integration pieces. There are things you have to think about. There's work to do. Right. That's a part of the process. And I'm really grateful for that, because I can, when I feel myself slip, or I feel that sort of sadness coming back to me, or I'm feeling things that are like incongruent in intensity, like you just said, it's a perfect example. Yeah. As soon as I sent that message to you and was like, I just hate being late. Yeah. I was, it's time. Yeah. This is ridiculous. You are 11 minutes late and you are putting so much pressure on yourself. But like, what, I know, what is this?
But that's just it. And you know what? This interaction I had with my friend this morning was exactly, and she called it, it's just a cup. Like she's always, ever since she was a child, been very clumsy, dropping things and, breaking things. And the response she got from her parent was always out of anger. Yeah. Because of her parent going to their fight, flight, or freeze, right? So even when I hear a loud noise, I jump to, wow, like, why'd you do that? Yeah. So now that she's a grown woman, she will often have big reactions to when she drops her phone. And we were talking about, again, like those big, like, she's like, I broke a cup or whatever. And my husband is so great. He's like, it's just a cup. Yeah. And that's what we were talking about today, is when we have these big, big emotions, it's so, when we can get into a reflective place and we're building awareness, it's so interesting when we can say, okay, where is this coming from? Yeah. And then, you peel back like you've been doing and look back and you think, oh yeah, it comes from this experience I had as a kid, or this continual message I I took over from my caregiver, parent, or whoever, and I've been telling myself I'm an idiot. Why am I doing that? And so I think it's interesting when you're talking about now the work that you have to go back and do, like where were these emotions coming from? And when you're compartmentalizing, I also think where we don't even recognize how, again, our body and mind connect. So where are we compartmentalizing that? Where in our body are we storing all of those emotions?
Yeah. Some people drink alcohol.
Yeah.
I put it in a box.
Yeah.
Put it on a shelf.
Yeah.
And carry it.
Right.
And my muscles were like, fuck you.
Totally.
And for years, so long that I was literally hurting. That was the self-harm, was like, everything is so tight. I do so much. The language about myself, the responsibility to take on at work, the way I treat myself is so different than how I treat everybody else around me.
Yeah, patterns, right? We get into these and a lot of what we're saying is, okay, we're at a place, you're at a place where you're re-scripting this now.
Yeah, totally.
You're trying to make sense of those intense emotions. They deserve to be validated and looked at. Yeah. And also, how can you face those kinds of emotions and feelings without that intensity now? Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, that sort of the journey that you're continuing to be on, because now you're doing that in between work. Yeah. And going to go down another 6-hour experience sometime soon, right?
Yeah, because it has to. Like, I can feel it. Also, the time between making plans with friends is getting longer. Do you know, like all of the things where I'm like,
I just thought it's because you got aluminum in your life now.
That's a part of it, but also it's not though. I noticed the other, it's so-and-so's birthday. No, we need to make plans. Like I'm harassing Amanda and Kieran about going for Amanda's birthday lunch. And a part of that is, one, I love Amanda and I want to go out with her and I want to see her. She's been really busy. As you guys know, she was doing her master's. She still is. But selfishly, I'm the thing that brought me comfort and brought me joy and makes me laugh. And seriously, like I joke about it, but it's not funny. Like, you guys saved my life for real, is too far apart. Yeah. So,
you're going to make me cry now. Yeah. You say that a lot. Like, you talk a lot about friendships and how I'm really grateful. And I know if Amanda was here, she would say the same thing, like appreciative of the fact that you give us a lot of credit. And I know I speak for her too, and we're like, we did nothing. Like, you allowed us to be there. So it was, you didn't allow that, then we wouldn't be in this place where we built this great friendship. Yeah. You could have been closed off and compartmentalized, and you didn't have to let us in. So we honestly feel that the credit is really to you, because we were just around here being whatever we thought we should or needed to be, but you were kind of guiding it. Anytime you came in and talked about a hard night or whatever, we're like, all right, I do my thing, Amanda does her thing, and we figure it out. And I think that's a big life lesson that I've had, and you and I've talked about too, like just having friendships. You know, I've been talking a lot to friends that are around our age and even older, that are saying, you know, I spent my 20s and 30s kind of building my life, going to school, getting married, having kids, building a career, whatever that is, traveling. So I didn't really need these kind of connections because I was distracted by the things that were going on in my life. And now that my life is settling down a bit, or coming out of relationships, like in your case, realizing, where do my friends go? You know, now that the noise level's dialing down, I think just recognizing that connections are so important, and we meet people at different points in life. Like, even like you said, you're dating. It's so funny. We're talking about a serious thing, but every time I say aluminum, I just want to burst out laughing. But we're going to keep up with it. Yeah. But dating this person now, he gets to meet you at a very different place. Like, he gets a different you than if he had met you 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
100%.
You know, it's kind of like, it's like, interesting.
We're super compatible. We have a lot of things in common. If we met when we were 25 or like 30, we would have been, I think for certain, madly in love and a complete and utter disaster. Like, in the best and the worst way.
Oh, like I'm Pamela and Tommy Lee.
Maybe. Yes. Yeah. But also, I'm so grateful that I didn't, because it would have been bad. It wouldn't have been lovely like it is right now. It would have been fun. It would have been exciting. It would have been adventurous. It would have been a lot of things. Yeah. But it wouldn't have been thoughtful, and it wouldn't have been right. It wasn't the right time, which again, like I keep saying like the universe or whatever, like I don't really know.
Yeah. But also like when connections are short-lived. Like I actually didn't do my middle fingers up.
Oh,
and no, it's okay. And it's perfect timing, because what I was going to go up to was middle fingers up to shorten connections. I went to go to the passport office yesterday to pick up my passport. And so I'm supposed to hand my receipt to this, like the security guards in the front. And so there was a younger man and an older gentleman. And so I was like, hello, gentlemen, good day. I was told to point this receipt towards your way and you'll show me where to go. And so they were like, yeah, totally. And the older gentleman looked like he would be the third member of Cheech and Chong. Like he'd be Bong.
Nice.
He was an older man, but he just had this like really this cool vibe to him that I was like, I feel like he would have been a fun man back in the day.
Yeah.
He's like, come with me. And then I was like, oh, come with me if you want to live. And so he like looks to the side and looks at me, and then he bursts out laughing because I was like, I'm just referencing, Arnold Schwarzenegger in that movie. And then it was passport office is busy, like it's jam-packed. And so he's like, oh, aren't you glad you don't have to, sit through this? And I'm like, I already paid my dues last week. Like I was already here doing this, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We had this fun exchange, a really funny thing. And he starts making funny jokes. And I'm like, do you take magic pill puffs? Like, like what do you, he's laughing and we're talking about smoking up, even though we're not. We're having this funny conversation. Anyways, he helps me and I leave. This is like a 7-minute interaction. And I really, as I was leaving, I'm like, I really appreciated hanging out with you for a few minutes. He's like, I felt the same. And I left and I was telling my husband, I'm like, sometimes shorten connections. Yeah. Like you meet people in your lives and you're like, oh, that girl in the lineup that took me
Fill
in.
your bucket just in a snap.
Yeah. They give you so much. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I wish maybe I was only supposed to know you for this long or whatever. But it's like those people also help you recognize, like you were saying earlier, how do I want to be remembered? Like if I'm only having a quick interaction with you, I hope I leave that, I'm sure I don't. When you're flipping people the bird all day long. Well, they're only good.
Sometimes that does bring joy to people. That's why you and I are just meant to be, because we drive by each other and walk by each other and flip the bird, and it means I love you.
Yeah, constantly, right? But anyways, your story reminded me of that just piece of when you meet people in your life. And so maybe if you and Aluminum dated years ago, you wouldn't have what you could possibly have, or even what you have now. Because I think a lot of what your journeys have been about is like how do you be present? Yeah. You're from one thing to the other, like you're saying, and your mind is so busy.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying the thing about friendships and things. And for I have a poster in my office I've had for forever. I work with kids and I've always given them this poem, for a reason, for a season, for a lifetime. The writer of the poem is unknown, so I can't give anybody credit for that. But it's about exactly what you talked about. And I've sort of
I'm the writer.
I knew it. I fucking knew it. Of course it's you.
I'm the anonymous
Brown Barbie.
Yeah.
I firmly believe in the notion of that poem. Like people come into your life for a season, for a reason, or for a lifetime, and not everybody's the same, and whatever it is what it is. But like I really appreciate my close friendships. I really appreciate too, like things were really rough. You guys listened to me when I needed you to, and you also just let me avoid feeling some things, which I realize is the antithesis of what I just talked about. But you just let me make dumb jokes and laugh and get fixated on red lipstick, and
which is the best.
It is the best. I firmly stand by that. Yes. But like, just do you know what I mean? Yeah. You also didn't apply pressure. You didn't make me talk about anything. You were just prepared to listen. When you're in a real relationship and a real friendship, nobody owes anybody anything. Mm-hmm. And so I just feel like it's important to be grateful. Like, I think it's important to say, like, I know that this took no effort and how you feel about it, but it still doesn't land on me without a recognition of like appreciation.
Yeah. Like our friend Gary that passed away, he used to say the grass is greener where you water it.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, right? I don't want people to ever not know.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So if that's weird or annoying, too bad.
No,
that's how it is.
I appreciate that. I think that you're right. We are starting to, people are talking about it more. So again, the whole point of these conversations too is like, we can sit down together and talk about more than just the things that consume us. We can sit down and also talk about things that make us laugh and, problem solve together. I'm grateful for these kinds of conversations and for folks like you that come on and want to share your story, but also, if anything, anyone out there that is silently suffering or feeling blame of divorce or living the stigma and doesn't know what to do, or people that are like, gosh, like where did those friends go? It's messages of there are ways that we can feel connected or reach out. And not everything works for everybody, right? Yeah. Like you talked about certain therapy worked for you, certain things didn't work for you, but you also talked about you have to be ready. You have to like, you have this level of awareness of like something needs to happen here.
Yeah, I think readiness is highly under spoken about.
How do you get there though? How do we get ourselves there?
Because I work with little kids, there's a lot of conversation about readiness, and it starts at like readiness about independence, readiness about potty training. There's so much patience for children in readiness, and also frustration. So like, I think that's a thing too, but there still has to be readiness in work, in development, in growth. I had to be ready. The event that led up to my divorce, I could not have been ready for.
Yeah.
I did not see that thing coming at all. Except when I made a decision, I made it. And I was like, I'm ready to do whatever it takes to do this for myself.
Yeah.
And I think that is something I'm more and more curious about. Like, how does that even happen? Like, what happens in your brain? I love the brain.
Yeah.
What happens in your brain? What happens in your heart? What happens in your relationships? So like, I know that that connection is matched with that, but connection and readiness. When you talked about the whole divorce thing, making a decision about those things or feeling worried about it is natural. One thing I'm really good at is looking at both sides of the coin. Both sides. I can stay.
Yeah.
I can do these things. I can feel this way. I can be okay with it. Or I can do this. Which one do I want to do? Because whatever my story is not going to be the same as somebody else's story. But it is possible when something is happening to you that is unexpected and that you're not ready for. If you can stop and think for a second or a minute or a week and make a decision, then at least you made a decision and you do what it takes to take care. I don't know. Like, I don't know how it happened.
Yeah.
It just did. And I fully recognize like that's not going to happen for other people. And it was really important to me to do it with like a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Because I literally could have died. I could have crawled into my bed and put the blankets over my head and never come out. It was heartbreaking and devastating and life-changing and hurtful and all of those things. I just forced myself with intention and action not to let it take me there because the event was bad enough.
Yeah. Well, I think this journey that you've been on with psilocybin and your microdosing, like I'm also not a doctor, so just as a friend who knows you and who's known you before and known you now during, you're different.
Yeah.
And I keep saying to myself, and I think I've said to you too, like I feel this journey has done something and is doing something for you. I don't know where you would be at had you not started with microdosing and all those things.
Yeah,
like
me
I
either.
think you started to open some doors that just were locked and you lost the key, and knocking them down are hard when you're exhausted and tired. And right. So these doors started to open and I see a different side of you. And I think it's been really cool watching that when you've been dealing with something so painful and you've done it so gracefully, which is really cool to see. And also I think as women, we struggle, like we're really hard on ourselves, but we are so hard on each other.
Yeah.
And we get caught in this weird cycle, and whatever I need and I don't have is getting in the way of me being there for you and all. And I just think you've done a really good job role modeling and reaching out and talking about this dark, painful, dirty secret. And turning it into something else. Yeah. And you navigated the narrative. And I think that is so brave.
Well, and draw things in. Like I'm in a position where I'm like, I feel really grateful. I feel happy.
Yeah.
I feel like the gifts I'm giving to people are different than they were before. Like you said, that their experience of me is different.
Yeah.
The way in which I spend time with people around me is different. The relationship I'm in is wonderful right now. I hope it stays that way, but I just feel good about it. I feel lucky.
Yeah.
I feel loved, which is really, really nice. I feel the things that made me sad, I just don't feel those things because I've also surrounded myself with people who stop and listen to me, who make me feel like I'm valuable and make me feel heard, and people who don't get to be a part of my life. I don't have to do that anymore, and I won't. And so I think the way that people get to experience me and I experience people is really lovely. I'm fortunate for that. But no, yeah, I genuinely feel that way. And that is not like me. Like, no.
It's very true. It's not like you. It's been nice to have this kind of a conversation. I appreciate it. Yeah. And it's not for always. I'm like, we don't sit here and talk about love is and blah, blah, blah all the time. But I think it's like showing it, and we show it when we understand it. And I feel that by you too. And I think you're allowing yourself to accept it. And it's happening. And it's been cool watching that.
Thanks.
That whole process. Like it is a very different you.
Honestly, you said it. I think you said it
so much. I said all the time.
Well, but you said to a bunch of people in episodes, 40 has been great. Lots of weird things are happening to my body, like whatever. Like we're not going to talk about that. 40's been great.
Yeah.
Really tough.
You're 42 now.
Yes, so. I just turned 42. What's that like? Kieran's almost 42. She's pretty damn close. Actually,
is today the 16th?
Yes.
Yeah, because I was saying to someone, today's 4 months till my birthday. And they're like, actually, it's 3 months till your birthday. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's right.
It is.
So I'm so far from 42. Moly. Tell me what it's been like.
Far.
But you're right. 40s have been, it's not, I can appreciate where people are at because we have to let, we've all been at the pre.
Yeah.
So you have to process whatever you want. It was never a big deal to me. I just
me
always,
either.
I thought the older I get, people will take me more seriously. And that still hasn't happened.
Yeah. Well,
so maybe when I'm 70, people take me seriously.
Maybe. And I feel this way, like totally like it's welcome to the club. Like it's nice here.
Yeah.
Like it really is. Like I never knew, it sounds kind of hokey, but I think the combination of life experience, confidence, competence,
reflection.
Like just on it, like the ability to be honest. Like I literally don't have time not to tell you what I'm thinking about right now because why? Like what do you know? I'm not in your late teens, 20s, 30s, even like the self-confidence, the self-judgment, the judgment from others, like the pressure for whatever reason at this juncture, despite the circumstances, marriage, divorce, kids, no kids, whatever, work, no work. Lots of things people are making changes. You've made lots of changes. I've made lots of changes. Everybody around us is making really big moves and in the best way. It's just really nice to see. People's experiences have been really good and it's hard to explain. I'm sure it has nothing to do with a number. It has to do with all those other things, but also it's really great.
Yeah.
People, I'm happy we're talking about it. More people should talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's awesome.
It is. I know. I agree. I think there's like that's self-compassion club. So anything at this point that you wish I had, I don't know, asked you? Like, I'm not really interviewing you. We've been having a nice conversation. So I've appreciated this time with you. So, but I don't know, like maybe there's something you wanted to bring up in selfish and asking you.
I appreciated the conversation. I had like no agenda coming here.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful that people appreciated last episode. I'm happy that they were like interested in listening to us talk ridiculousness and have a good laugh with us. That's awesome. I'm humbled by that. I know that this conversation is like a little bit different and people will take away what they want from it. And I'm grateful for any feedback they give you. I'm happy to hear it in whatever comes out of it. Yeah. I'm happy people are listening. I'm proud of you for this adventure. I wanted to mention that. I hear my name sometimes, usually in jest, but every time I'm like, I love it. And
damn, Amy.
The frickin' TV quotes.
Yeah, I know.
And the movie quotes. I know. I heard it.
Because I brought up, I said The Last of Us. I'll bring that up in 10 years and Amy will be like, because it's always
it's so true though. I love your vulnerability and honesty about that because it's
Have you ever watch that Sex in the City to the sex therapist.
Oh my God.
That text from you was the best.
Oh my
It's
God.
like, she's listening. That's all I got. I'm like, oh my God, she listened. That's all I got.
100%. Yeah. But
anyone that gives me shitty feedback, I'm like, oh my God, you listen. That's all I get. Like,
it's good. Bad press is good press. You say that.
I always say all press is good press.
Yeah. One takeaway, if I could just ask people or challenge people to do something. I love music. Mm-hmm. And in the last, I don't know, year, I've definitely like fallen back in love with music. Yeah. Just put it on, turn it up, listen. The person I'm seeing is super into hip hop. I'm also super into hip hop. Yeah. Thank you, ladies, for coming to Hip Hop Brunch. Even though I was in very rough shape, I would like a redo. Yeah, because I love it. Like I know, I loved it. Yeah. Everybody came exactly how I would have wanted it to be. I ruined my own birthday party. So it's my party. I'll cry if I want to, and that's exactly what happened. But honestly, put on music, turn it up, dance in your kitchen. Fall in love with it, do something fun, just enjoy it. Like that has also been the other thing that's been the biggest thing for me is just being by myself, putting on a good song.
Okay, what's a good song that just gets you in the kind of mood you're talking?
The thing that made the boy who I'm with, the man that I'm with, fall in love with me is Aesop Rock. He's one of my, not Aesop Rocky. Yeah. Different person. So if you don't know who Aesop is, that's on you. And now you can take a look. I don't know if I'm blowing something up that shouldn't be, but he's one of my all-time favorite rappers. Yeah. He's not super well. I mean, he's well known, but he's only well known in like certain circles, I guess. I'm not in some magical circle. I'm not like a super hip hop head. My partner is unbelievably.
His aluminum. Yeah. So right away we know.
Unbelievable hip hop head, which I find super attractive and love so much. We can talk about hip hop for days. Yeah. He runs laps around me and I love it because I'm into a lot of music too. But anyways, Aesop Rock is my favorite, probably one of my favorites. Old stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Wu-Tang. Yeah. All that. Put on a good music.
I appreciate that. I think music, and it's such a big thing in my house too. Yeah. Even my Xander came up to me the other day and he's like, Mom, like I need some new music. What are some songs? And I was like, oh, I love that he's asking me. And Carrie's in the kitchen giving his, I'm like, no, he's asking me for songs. Yes,
exactly.
I'm going to give him. So I gave him a band or someone.
This is how we figured out that we really liked each other. But how I knew that we were going to, we talked about soup. I will not talk about that. It's a good story, but whatever. Soup, who knew? So shout out to Noodle King. If you don't know what that is, satay soup. And he will laugh when he hears this. But he basically challenged me about music, which is how he found out who I knew that he loves. And that's how he knew that I was going to be someone awesome because of this particular rapper that I mentioned. But he would send me 2 songs a day, every day. And if I knew the song, he would send me another one. Oh. And so like your son is asking you for new music. Yeah. I love music. I love new music. He gave me a bunch. I've given him some. And that is a gift. It's like sharing, such a gift. It's like
little gift. Yeah. Totally gift sharing.
Yeah. So I've benefited more than he has. That's for sure. Yeah. That's like a part of the thing. It's just,
That's great.
Since you already have your Spotify or Apple Music or whatever going, listening to this episode. Yeah. Put on a track after and have a dance wherever you are, in your car, in your kitchen. Yeah. Because that also kept me going for sure.
I like that call to action. Yeah. So I hope people do it. And I would love to hear from people what songs they picked.
Yes, please. Right? New playlists. Yeah. Yeah, podcast playlist. So that'd be amazing. I would love that so much.
Okay, so I'm gonna write it.
No Shaggy, sorry guys. That one's not making it. It's not making the cut on my playlist. I'll tell you that right now.
No Boombastic.
That's different. Never do that again. I love you.
Oh man. On that note, I love you, lady. Thank you very much. And here's a little outro music by DJ Heavy D from Surrey, BC. So here we go. Speaking of music, shout out. Exactly. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.